Okay, so you may have seen this little mini fridge on Amazon, and you're probably wondering, does it really work? I was wondering as well. I read all the reviews there on Amazon, and gosh, it was just a mess, really, of people saying all kinds of things. Now, this is made by kind of an unknown company. There's no name brand on the box whatsoever. So it's unknown who makes it. It says made in China somewhere by somebody. And okay, so it operates off of USB. It's plugged into that laptop back there. And it does two things. If you look at the switch here, if it's on, the setting that it's on there, on the 1, that cools. And if you were to switch it over to the other side, it heats. And now obviously on the heating side, you would be wondering, is it hot enough to keep coffee warm or keep coffee hot? And I'll show that in a moment. But it's been on the cool setting for about a half an hour. And I put a thermometer in there. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it's not an insulated refrigerator. It's not meant to work that way. There's no air circulating around in there. There's a plate on the bottom. I'll show you here. There's a plate on the bottom, and that is the only thing that's cold in there. And so what I did, and even closing the door is somewhat pointless. Yeah, I should point out there, up there in the corner, there's a little LED. But okay, now how it works, first of all I should show, it's getting somewhat cold. You can see there about 65, and room temperature right here is about 75 right now, and I think that it's colder than that. It feels really, really cold when you touch it. And everything's happening on that little plate down there. That's an aluminum plate. And I think the way this thing is designed, it's only really supposed to keep aluminum cans cold. And that's because of the way the thermodynamics work with aluminum. Aluminum plate and aluminum can, basically the heat would conduct into the can and keep the drink cold. Now, it's not meant to chill a drink. It's just meant to keep a drink cold. Like if you put a cold drink in there, I think it would keep it cold. But I don't think it would I don't think it would make a warm drink cold. And if it did, it would probably take like overnight. It's not for that. It's just to prolong how long your cold drink stays cold. So it's that's all it's for. And basically it works. It does work. I think it's colder than that. I'll show you why. Basically, I had this the thermometer has a recessed little sensor there, and so I put this little spacer in there to bridge the gap. And I think we're losing a lot of temperature in that. This is nice and cold, but the plate is much colder than that piece was. I'd say at least 10 degrees, maybe 15 degrees. It's much, much, much colder. So I would have to guess that that is below 60 degrees. Maybe closer to 55. And I wish I had the right kind of thermometer, but I just don't. All I'm doing here is proving that it works, and giving a rough idea that it works. But now, how does it work? I don't know. Because when you look in there, you can see the heat sinks. Basically, so that plate there is all one piece. That plate there is that plate. It's all a big piece of metal. And you've got these heat sinks with this computer fan attached to it. You may not be able to see that because it's spinning. Turn that off. There. So, you have like a little computer fan blowing on those heat sinks, but that just can't be all that's going on there. I don't see any other parts. I'm dying to take it apart, but this is my son's little mini fridge. There has got to be more to it, and I will surely eventually not be able to stand it, and I will pull it apart. But today I'm not going to. Today I'm just going to say I don't know how it works. Here's another look in the back. Let's see if we can see anything in there. Really can't see anything in there. So, I'm fairly certain it does not work. Well, maybe. I don't know how it works. I'm not even going to say, because I don't want to get it wrong. Basically, it does work. Definitely chills. So, let's see if it heats. Be right back. Okay, so here's a look at heating mode. I had switched it to heat, and put the thermometer on a little spacer, little metal spacer that will conduct it'll conduct a good amount of the heat. So the plate is actually going to be a little hotter than it's going to be showing, because we're going to lose a few degrees in the transfer. But let's open it up and see how hot it gets on the heat mode. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty. So I am looking at right around 90 degrees, just barely above. But I think it's actually more like 100, because I can't leave my finger on it. It's about as hot as the hot water from your tap, straight hot water. Sometimes, depending on where you have your hot water heater set, sometimes you can keep your hand under there, sometimes you can't. But I think that it's actually over 100 degrees. And so this would very likely, depending on the cup, it would probably keep your coffee at least warm. It wouldn't keep it hot, but it would keep it warm. I can't make it too hot because, of course, this whole thing's made out of plastic and it would melt. And so there's a look at a rough idea of how hot it gets. It's showing a little over 90, but I think it's about 100. So that's an interesting twist on a mini fridge for it to actually do heating. Very interesting. But yeah, it definitely works. It definitely heats and definitely cools. So, and it's not ridiculously expensive, so I'd say it does work about as good as you might think it would. Especially running off of USB, fascinating little thing. I'd like to know how it works. Probably in a future episode I will take it apart and see exactly how it works. But for now, all I'm saying is that it works. Thanks for watching, and thanks for watching.